tragedy, bloodshed, and a big secret. That's the recipe for Nick Cutter's latest novel, The Queen. And what better time to chat with one of Canada's top horror authors than on Halloween, except we call him Craig Davidson. That's your name around here. Welcome. You wrote under the pseudonym Nick Cutter, which we'll get into a bit later on. So you've been called the spinner of nightmares.
Have I?
That's a fun title to have. So more than anyone, you would understand this fascination with goriness on Halloween, since it is October 31st. So from makeshift cemeteries to skeletons, what's the connection here?
Between Halloween and scares and just like people's desire to be scared, I suppose. You know, for me, it goes back to when I was a kid and, you know, testing your thresholds really. And something that you felt was not particularly scary at, say, as we spoke beforehand, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at 8 o'clock at night, at 9 o'clock at night, at 10 o'clock at night. I remember reading my first Stephen King short story when I was about 13 in a well-lit library at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and felt like that wasn't so bad. And then by the time my parents were shooing me into bed, I thought, oh, I've made a grave mistake here. Big mistake, yeah.
Okay, let's go off on that, because we were chatting and I told you anything having to do with horror or mystery I like to consume at 7 a.m. way before my bedtime.
It's a clever strategy.
It is a smart strategy.
I like it.
But I'm wondering, you know, as someone who does horror, you're the king of horror here in Canada, if you want that opposite effect, what tips do you have from folks as they consume The Queen?
Well, as you said, definitely I would argue against any kind of daylight reading, although I find it carries on in your imagination until night, but evidently that is not effective for you. So I would say
cleansing in between.
Right. Well, reading in cemeteries is always good. Morgues, if you can get entrance, I don't know. You know, I would say darkness obviously is best suited to these type of books and movies. It's just the natural element for the spooky season and things that go bump in the night. So. But for me, yeah, my imagination is so active even at this advanced age of mine that I can read something at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it'll persist until evening. So I'm glad you found a solution, but it does not work for me.
Well, I mean, it works because your latest, The Queen here, there's a lot of mystery around it, but then there's also a lot of gory. Maybe I'll let you use the wording. Tell us a little bit about what readers can expect.
Well, they can expect a cheerful, lighthearted romp between two great friends.
A rom-com.
Yeah, so they're real like a rom-com. No, I think you're right. It's definitely, I think my aesthetic bends towards sort of the rough edge to a degree. This is not like a gothic sort of Victorian narrative, as much as I like those. But really what I tried to focus on is it's really a friendship story. Truthfully, it really is. That was the sort of the character spine that I had, and at that time, when at the end of high school, when you're sort of drifting apart, some people are going away to university, some are staying at home, and that kind of schism between like great friends who have known each other for their entire life. So amidst all the roughness, I really do hope that there is it's shot through with a real character study of these two teenage narrators.
A beautiful story.
I hope so, yeah.
Another mystery here. This is Craig, as we had mentioned. You're writing under the pseudonym Nick Cutter.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Well, you know, it was really almost a publishing decision because I think sometimes within publishing houses, there's a sense that readers can't sort of distinguish that, like, how could this person have these two very different outlooks and the things that they want to pursue? And so I said, okay, fine, because my son at the time was 2 when I wrote my first Cutter book, and his name is Nicholas, so I thought it would be a little honorific to him. But now he's 12 going on 13, and he doesn't think anything I do is cool. It's all lame. But at least when I first chose to go with that honorific, he thought it was awesome.
Oh, he'll be back to thinking you're cool. We think you're cool.
I certainly hope so. Thank you.
Okay, Craig, thank you so much. The Queen is out now. Make sure you give it a read, whatever time you want to give it a read.
Yeah. Late.
Craig, thank you.
Thank you.